Friends with benefits entered in our collective vocabulary years ago, but it's a tricky term. Now researchers have released a study breaking down friends with benefits into 7 categories. What are they? Relationship expert, Huffington Post contributor, and author Charles Johnson here on the morning show to give us the scoop on the definitions of friends with benefits. This is his book, How to Find the Right One and Make It Last. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
All right. Friends with benefits. Let's start with the first definition. True friends, meaning?
True friends is just what it says. It's 2 people who like each other. They like hanging out. They have shared interests, but they also have sex. They consider themselves safe partners.
Is that a healthy thing?
Could be. If you can develop it past that, it could be a very healthy thing.
All right. Now that takes us to category number 2. It's just sex. There's no real friendship. We're just talking about meeting physical needs here?
That's all it is. That person calls you up about 11, 12 o'clock at night and says, let's get together.
But isn't that dangerous? Because sometimes somebody develops feelings and it, starts to move in one direction that one may want, the other may not.
Absolutely. That happens all the time.
How do you reconcile that?
Well, the way you reconcile is you define what your relationship goals really are. Nobody wants to commit and talk about being boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. So friends with benefits is 7 categories to define what used to be boyfriend or girlfriend.
I got you. Now I know what networking is in the business world. What's network opportunism in the friends with benefits world?
Well, think about it now. You got a bunch of friends. They all hang out together. That's the new term, hang out. They all hang out together, and at the end of the night, after searching madly, one guy goes over to a girl and says, why not? So instead of going home by himself, he asks her to go home.
Sometimes the girl says why.
She made her say why not.
She may.
Now, I recommend it.
The successful transition, it worked.
The successful transition is where you really like the person, your friends, you're having sex, and you want to leverage that into a romantic relationship, a commitment. Oh, that's perfect. But it's pretty rare.
Okay, so you got that successful transition. What if it's not what was intended, the unintended transition?
That's where all your friends know. Everybody's talking about the 2 of you, you're in love, and you're denying it vehemently. No, we don't like each other like that. And all of a sudden you find yourself one day hanging out all the time. You're still having sex, but you're talking about doing committed things like going to the movies. And instead of going to the movies, you're talking about let's go on a trip together. It's now evolved into a romantic relationship. Best of all worlds.
It is. But you also have the possibility that one or the other is going to say, you know what? I don't think this is for us. That would be the failed transition.
That's the failed transition. So you get in there, you try to make it work, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't work.
All right. Transition out means what?
Transition out means you keep going back to your ex. You haven't moved on. You keep going back. It's the ex-boyfriend, it's the ex-girlfriend, it's the ex-wife.
Even though you know it's unhealthy.
Even though you know it's emotionally unhealthy, it's breaking your heart, but you know it's safe. You keep going back.
Is it safe?
Well, I don't think it is. Because you really need to move on. In my book, How to Find the Right One and Make It Last, I always say, go move on. It's time to move on. Give yourself permission to find love again.
And more than 150 couples have used this advice and have tied the knot, and a number of people who are on the way to committed relationships.
Yep.
Right.
Almost 600 now.
How to find the right one and make it last, available on Amazon and most of your usual book places. Charles Johnson, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruce.
Appreciate you being here.